So the theme for today is one of the pillars of yoga, the yamas and the niyamas, which are these practices and restraints, so to speak, about how to live a yogic life and how to approach this spiritual path that we're all on. And one of the niyamas, there's 5, is called tapas. And tapas is burning zeal in practice. It is a fiery energy. It is self-discipline. So today's class is going to be about tapas. We're going to talk about pain. We're going to talk about discomfort. We're going to talk about suffering. A lot of people think that yoga is this great escape from all of those things. And if you go and read the scriptures, the Vedic scriptures, if you go back to the 4 noble truths about Buddhism, all they talk about is suffering. That's really all they talk about. The first of the 4 noble truths of Buddhism is that suffering is inevitable. So what yoga does is it gives us tools for dealing with that suffering and for welcoming it and for using it as a vehicle for change and for enlightenment. It's not all hunky-dory. It's not all bliss. The scripture of the Bhagavad Gita takes place on a literal battlefield. So this work is not easy. This work is meant to be challenging. This work is meant to be sometimes deeply painful. And what that does is it shows us that our sense of strength and resilience is our superpower. And I think that can be really heavily applied to where we are in the world right now as human beings. So with that, we are moving into some really challenging practices today. What I will ask you is to notice where you can be gentle with yourself within this heat creating. We'll be creating some heat. Where can you find ease, the sukha, within the effort, the sthira, right? So still maintaining this gentleness with yourself as a way to help you stick with it when things get rough. So grab your ice cubes, please. We're going to move into the first practice. And what you will do is you will take 1 ice cube in each hand. We're going to be here for a few minutes. I'm doing this with you. So I'm not just like making you suffer and expecting myself to not do it. So whether you're standing or sitting, you'll have your ice cubes. Put them in your hands. And after a few seconds, you will already start to feel kind of this burning numbness. So if you want, I can invite you to close your eyes, maybe. Start connecting to your breath as a way to help you stick with this. Deep inhales through the nose, deep exhales out of the nose. If you're standing, make sure not to lock your knees. Feel the support of the earth beneath you or the seat beneath you, whatever it is that you are on. And when the discomfort starts to kick in, can you welcome it? Can you welcome whatever it is that arises in a way that allows you to stay present? Perhaps using the breath to do so. And I'm not telling you how long we're going to be here for a reason. Because I don't want you to start thinking, oh, okay, we now have 1 more minute to go, or 30 seconds to go. Instead of thinking about the end result, can you rein your awareness back in to the here and now, the present moment? What are the sensations you're noticing? What are the sensations in your hands? What is coming up for you? Are you breathing? Is this deeply painful? Is this starting to become unbearable? If it is absolutely unbearable, you have permission to exit. You have permission to back out of it. You have permission to make this easier on you. And I will challenge you. I will challenge your belief of what you are truly capable of. Ask yourself, can I bear this? Is this really as unbearable as I think it is? Or is it all in my mind? Is this pain and suffering all in my mind? You might start to notice the ice is melting a little bit. Stay with it. Stay with the breath. Stay in the present. We're talking about tapas, right? This self-discipline, this creating heat. And the ice is almost so cold that it burns. We are burning away what is no longer serving us. Because sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes inviting in deep discomfort in order to release what is no longer serving us. Ten seconds to go. Deep inhale, deep exhale. And you can slowly start to let go. Place your ice cubes. Maybe take a towel and dry your hands, or just rub your hands together really, really, really quickly to generate some heat. Shake it out to bring some feeling back into your hands. Spread your fingertips really, really, really wide. Stretch your fingertips as far apart as possible. And then create gentle fists with thumbs in and press into your thumbs. Good. Again, inhale, stretch your fingertips wide apart. Exhale, thumbs in fists, press the fingers into the thumbs. Good. Let it go. And we will do one more quick active meditation practice that involves some mudra, and this will be a standing up practice. So the mudras that we're doing are the fire and the water mudras. As we inhale, we are inhaling a cooling sense of vitality and letting the water wash over us with the mudra, which is the thumb to the pinky. This is the water mudra. And you'll just have your hands right here. So thumb to pinky as you inhale. As you exhale, thumb to ring finger. That is the fire mudra. That is the downward energy mudra. This is actually a really great mudra if you are constipated. So inhale, thumb to pinky, water. Exhale, burning heat, thumb to ring finger, fire mudra. While we do that, that is the task that we are focusing on to help us deal with the fact that we will be in a goddess squat. So feet in a wide distance, toes pointing out, bend your knees. Slight tuck of the tailbone, slight engagement of the abdominals. Still growing tall through the crown of the head, shoulders away from the ears. Hands by your sides, elbows in towards the ribs, palms facing up. You can bend your knees a little, or you can bend your knees a lot. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale, thumb to pinky. Exhale, thumb to ring finger, fire. Inhale, water mudra. Exhale, fire mudra. Keep breathing. And maybe with each exhale, you can sit a little bit deeper. Continuing to breathe at your own pace. Switching the mudras as you breathe in and out. Noticing the difference between the coolness of the inhale and the heat of the exhale. Notice when your thighs start to burn, when it starts to become a little bit uncomfortable or a lot uncomfortable. And when it does, maybe you can sit a little bit deeper. Challenge your idea of what you are capable of. Challenge your idea of what is bearable. Believe that you are resilient and that you are capable of great discomfort. And while you are here, what can you do to make this just a little bit easier? Maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you focus on the mudras so that you can bring yourself a little bit away from the sensation in the legs. Or maybe focusing on the sensation in the legs can help you a little bit here. Can help you feel like you have control over the situation. But can you remove your feelings from it? Can you notice what arises without any attachment to it whatsoever? Instead of, oh, this is so painful. No, this is painful. How can you shift the mind to accompany this discomfort? How do you welcome this pain, welcome this discomfort without letting it control you? 3 more breaths. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, thumb to pinky, water. Exhale, thumb to ring, fire. One last one. Inhale. Exhale, sit a little bit deeper. And then as you inhale, let it go. Straighten out your legs. Bring your hands to your hips. Step your feet together. Your legs might be shaking a little bit. That's okay. Shake it out. Shake out your legs. Maybe grab your thighs and just do like this jiggle back and forth to help sort of release the muscles away from the bone. And then when you are ready, we'll shift into our relaxation. So finding your way into a lying down position. Yep. Finding your way into lying down. Taking as much time as you need here to settle. The hard part of this is over. It's done. You did it. You made it through. It might have seemed impossible at the time, but you're here. And now you get to relax, and now you get to reap the benefits of what you just did. So once you've found your comfortable position, lying down, either on your back or on your side, or even supine, or not supine, prone on your belly. Start to allow yourself to settle. You don't need to hold yourself up anymore. The earth has you. She always has. She's always had you. You are safe to explore within the mind, within the deep inner consciousness. You are safe. You are safe to welcome whatever it is that arises in this practice of Yoga Nidra. And you are safe to become so comfortable and so at ease that the body does not feel the need to move. However, if the need to move arises, welcome it. Notice it. And maybe after a moment of just noticing it, without attachments, it will pass. However, if the need to move persists, please feel free to honor that in however you see fit. In this practice of Yoga Nidra, I will be talking to you, but there is no pressure to pay attention. If you wander, if you lose focus, if you lose consciousness, if you fall asleep, that is likely your body telling you that that's what it needs. No matter what, you reap the benefits of the practice. There will be occasional silence. That does not mean the practice is over. We are just staying with the practice. We will be going until 11:15, or sorry, 12:15 Central Time. If you need to leave early, please feel free to do so. And continuing now to settle in, allowing the parts of you that are touching the earth to melt further down on every exhale. And on every inhale, welcoming in the sensations around you. You may hear some sounds outside from a distance, car passing by your home, the wind. Allow that to be a part of your practice. And on the next exhale, I'll invite you to allow your awareness to drift into the heart space. With each inhale, bringing in nourishment for the heart. And the exhale, sending that nourishment right down into the deep heart's core. And in the deep heart's core, if an intention arises, a sankalpa, a heart's prayer, a heart's desire arises, welcome it. Breathe it in and seal it back down to the heart center on the exhale. If you would like, a suggestion for a sankalpa today is this tapas, this burning zeal and practice, this self-discipline, or perseverance. I am capable. I am resilient. I can stick with it. And allowing in these next few moments for that intention to plant itself like a seed in the center of the heart. And allow it to grow with the nourishment of this deep, deep rest, this practice that is Yoga Nidra. And then allowing your awareness to move around the body with the intention of the body remaining still and just the deep inner consciousness is what is moving around the body. And I'll invite you to envision perhaps a small spark. Ignite a small flame on each part of the body that the awareness visits. Starting with the eyebrow center, the space between the eyebrows, the center of the forehead. Allowing for a small glowing flame to ignite in the eyebrow center. And then moving down to the base of the throat, a hollow space between the collarbones. Small igniting flame in the hollow space between the collarbones. And the awareness travels to the right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, and to the tips of the fingers of the right hand, thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. This flame of awareness traveling up the inside of the right wrist, elbow, and shoulder, and settling back at the base of the throat. And moving to the left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, and to the tips of the fingers of the left hand, thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. Flame of awareness moving back up the inside of the left wrist, elbow, and shoulder, and resting once again at the base of the throat between the collarbones. And then allow this flame to fan and spark a little bit brighter as it settles down into the heart space. This gentle flame shining its light, resting in the heart. And then moving down to the navel center and the center of the pelvis, over to the right hip, right knee, right ankle, and to the tips of the toes of the right foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, the back of the right ankle, back of the knee, inner hip, center of the pelvis, and over to the left hip, left knee, left ankle, and to the tips of the toes of the left foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Moving back up the back of the left ankle, knee, inner hip, center of the pelvis, flame of awareness in the navel center, in the heart center, the base of the throat between the collarbones, the third eye center between the eyebrows, the crown of the head, and the whole body now. The whole body ignited with a spark of a flame of awareness. The whole body. The whole body. And allowing once again for the awareness to drift back down to the heart space. And with every inhale, inviting a cooling sensation into the body. And with every exhale, sensing into the heat of the body. Inhale, this cooling sensation, like cool water washing over you. And exhale into that spark that you ignited throughout the whole body. Inhale and feeling into the sensation of water. Exhale, feeling into the sensation of fire. Inhale and exhale. And can you expand your awareness now to include both? To include both hot and cool, fire and water in the span of your consciousness. Expanding to hold space for both with every inhale and every exhale. And then gently, just allowing that exploration to float away. Just letting it go. Returning the awareness back to the heart space. And in this state of awareness that is Yoga Nidra, I invite you to listen to the following words. This is a portion of writing from a book called Meditations from the Mat by Rolf Gates. And this passage is about the role of suffering in the spiritual path. And as you hear these words, I invite you to stick with it. Pay attention to what arises without judgment. These words may be hard to hear. You may not agree with everything you hear, and that is okay. Can you remain in this place of discomfort and notice what arises without being attached to it, knowing that everything is temporary? In the first teaching of the Buddha, the teachings on the Four Noble Truths, he talked about suffering. Pema Chodron. The Buddha began with suffering. A few years ago, it occurred to me that the incomprehensible selfishness of certain men in power over the millennia can be explained by their assumption that an end to suffering could be found outside themselves, and that with enough security, money, power, or fame, an individual could escape suffering. I realized that tapas, self-discipline, exists whether we channel it into spiritual practice or not. For tapas is essentially the drive to end suffering. Tapas is simply an energy, and it can work either for us or against us. In the ascendance of a Stalin or a Saddam Hussein or a Trump, there is evidence of a tremendous drive, a burning zeal to live, to rule, to win. In the vast fortunes of the super rich in this country, there is evidence of a tremendous desire to surpass the limitations of life as it has been lived. Our suffering begets the will to end suffering. The will to end suffering becomes the tapas of yoga when it is grounded in personal responsibility. The tapas of a Stalin or an abusive spouse or the head of a tobacco company is based on the belief that our suffering is caused by external events. The tapas of yoga is based on the idea that our suffering is caused by our reaction to external events. Viewed in this light, our suffering becomes our teacher. The ever-present demon becomes the ever-present teacher. Nonviolence becomes possible. Truthfulness becomes possible. Non-stealing becomes possible. Moderation becomes possible. Non-hoarding becomes possible. These are the yamas, and they are a natural growth of yoga's interpretation of the cause of our suffering. According to the yogic philosophy of the eight-limb path, we always have everything we need. When we fail to believe this, we suffer. We are here to create spiritual health, and we each have our own personal trainer in the form of our suffering. The greatest teacher who ever lived is our constant companion. The Buddha began with suffering because our understanding of our suffering defines the nature of our solution. And with the next few breaths, I'll invite you to return to the heart space and allowing yourself to reignite the sankalpa, the intention you set at the beginning of this practice of Yoga Nidra. Returning to the sankalpa, whether that was this sense of tapas, this self-discipline, this burning energy, whether it was something else, or whether it was a nirvikalpa, the absence of intention, the absence of desire. allowing ourselves to recheck in with the growth of that seed that we planted of Sankalpa at the beginning of our practice. And allowing ourselves to continue to nourish it with every breath in and every breath out. And staying with the breath, staying in the practice of awareness that is Yoga Nidra, we will slowly start to transition our awareness back to a more everyday state of consciousness. Beginning with the breath, feeling the cooling sensation of the inhale, the heating sensation of the exhale, feeling the sensation of the air in and out of the nostrils, and allowing the sound of the breath to become a little louder as a way to help us reground into conscious awareness. And then allowing our awareness to expand into the physical sensation of the body on whatever it is you are lying on. Physical sensation of the body on the earth, weight of the body being supported. And with this physical sensation of the body, allowing perhaps for some small movements in the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles, any other joints that you feel intuitively need some movement. Maintaining the awareness of the breath. And taking as much time as you need to stay where you are or shift over to lying on your side. Lying in a fetal position, pressing the top hand against the earth in front of your heart space. And feeling into the physical sensation of the palm against the earth, or whatever it is you are lying on. And staying here for as long as you need, or slowly transitioning your way up to a comfortable seat, facing your screen, perhaps keeping the eyes closed, or reclosing the eyes down, or finding a soft gaze downward. And I'll invite you to press the palms of your hands together in front of your heart space, or place one hand on top of the other in front of your heart space. Whatever you feel resonates more with you. And staying with the breath, staying in this place of deep relaxation, I will invite you to join me in the sound of 3 ohms together. You decide whether you want to join in vocally or energetically and just listen. There is no right or wrong, and you're on mute, so no one can hear you. Staying with the breath. Take a deep breath in through the nose and clear the breath out of the mouth. Beautiful. One more like that. Deep breath in through the nose and out of the mouth. The next breath in will be for the sound of Om 3 times together. Breathe in. Slide your thumb knuckles up to your lips, giving a gentle kiss. Thumb knuckles to the third eye center. May your intuition and your great inner teacher always guide you. And thumbs back to the heart center. This practice of Yoga Nidra is complete. Hare Om Tat Sat, Om Shanti, peace, and Namaste.